Episode 14.
Yep.
We're here.
We're here.
Today, we're talking about where do you find inspiration in your business? Creative inspiration, I suppose.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Straight away.
Well, I can go if you like, but
Go on then.
I'm trying to sort out my wires.
I have a very specific example where I find inspiration for if I'm writing scripts for samples of like TV ads or radio ads. There's a great website that I go on. It's not YouTube. It's just, I think it's called Best Ads or something like that. And it's just got thousands and thousands of adverts on it, both from TV, radio, print, and web as well. So you can filter by all the different genres like automotive, medical.
Yeah.
So if I want to write a script about pet insurance, for example,
As you do.
I will look for some animals, some animal clips, and just get inspiration from there and just listen. I'm not copying. I'm just trying to feel what sort of stuff they talk about, what the potential different styles you could lean into. So you could make a funny one or one that's a bit more serious. So that website particularly is very good.
I love that. There's something I'm really interested in adverts. Not because I want to buy stuff, but I think a good advert is still a piece of art. And there's not very many good ones now.
What's the last great advert that you remember?
I mean, I want to say the Guinness advert, the white horses, tick follows talk, follows tick follows talk. With the white, have you not? With the white horses coming as waves. It's like it's legendary, and it's beautifully shot in black and white. It's grainy, unbelievable cinematography. But Guinness went through a stage where they were just nailing everything they did. So that always comes to mind. I can't think of anything. Yeah, I mean, more recent, because I suppose budgets. And also less engagement for brands.
Yeah.
If a brand is spending a huge amount of money on an advert, it was fine back in the day where there was just 4 channels where everybody had to watch all the adverts. But now people just fast forward.
I saw an advert the other day that was so low budget, and it was on TV as well.
Yeah.
And it was Steve McManaman, the ex-Liverpool.
That's where the fee went.
Yeah.
That's where the...
And it was to do with, I think it was face cream for men or something like that. And he had a team of, there was 3 people sitting there on a bench, ex-football players who I didn't recognise, but I looked up the names and they were.
Okay.
And Steve McManaman as the coach.
Wow.
But it was such bad quality. Like everything about it was bad. The way it was shot, the way it looked, I don't know what you call it, the production values.
Production value.
And the bit at the end where there was it was a shot of like the mirror with a shelf, and the hand comes in with the cream at the end. It just looked really bad. It was embarrassing, and I thought, that's not him. That's not Steve McManaman's fault.
No.
But it's gonna negatively affect that product because it just, well, to me, I didn't want to buy it. Let's just put it like that.
So there's 2 things there. The good thing is you're talking about that advert.
Oh yeah, I remembered it.
Because it was so bad. But then you ended that story with saying, and I'll never buy the product.
I've got a bad association with it.
Yeah.
I remember the advert, which is good, but I remembered it for the wrong reason.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the thing. But is there, and we're probably going too far off the topic here, but is there something to do with, because video footage is so readily available in qualities ranging from 0 out of 10.
Steve McManaman.
But just on like self-shot on TikTok and stuff like that, everyone's just used to it. So does it matter as much now that there's an advert on the telly? I mean, it stood out against all of the other really well-produced adverts, but will it become more commonplace that there's more and more badly produced ones?
Well, yeah. I mean, you only need to... have you heard of the financial app Moneybox?
I've got it.
Okay. Yeah, so have I. It's a great app. If you want to sponsor the show.
I was gonna say, is it an affiliate scheme?
The link's in the chat. But they're a huge business. And I saw an advert online for them. And it was literally a phone, talking head to the phone.
Yep.
And and the talent wasn't even mic'd up. So it's just like on phone mic.
Yeah.
Yet branded with Moneybox. So there's possibly something in that where people are, especially if you're consuming a lot of your content through social media. That's just the way it is.
Just fits with everything else when you're scrolling, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So where do you get your inspiration from? We'll get back in there.
Well, we'll come back to you as well. So, I mean, it's the obvious, I suppose, if we're talking about films and video first, the obvious inspiration is films, like Hollywood films, cinema films, but also shows on TV. I don't think you can ever turn it off, really. I'm watching White Lotus at the moment. I don't know if you've seen that. It's the third series, HBO, so it's an unbelievably written and produced show. So yeah, really, really entertaining, brilliant writing. So that's always when you see a brilliant film or a brilliant show, this just can be inspirational from top to bottom.
Yep.
But the cinematography on that is really inspirational in terms of I want to start putting those techniques into videos that I do now. So I think inspiration that you're just taking in all the time, I think that works. Have you, just flipping it back, is there any genres or areas of inspiration that aren't to do with voiceover that inspire your voiceover? For instance, you could be looking at a photo and that could inspire a video, or vice versa, or a painting, or anything like that.
Yeah. So music, I think. So if you think about, I'm trying to think of an act now. Let's take a piece of classical music, like where it's really gentle for the intro, then it has a massive crescendo, then it goes back down again. I like to see voiceover sometimes a bit like that. So there's a tune that goes through what you're saying anyway, because otherwise it doesn't sound very interesting. But it also wouldn't sound very interesting if everything was the same sort of level all the way through. Going back to the drama stuff we spoke to on episode 13. Check it out. It's good. When someone's talking emotionally, it's not just all the same. They can get worked up about something, more excited. So I like to be able to pull bits out of the script where I can go harder or softer, because it just adds more contrast. So I kind of take that from music, I think. But also I get inspiration from things that I've done. So for example, if I had an ad, what was it for? Some theme place that people could go to and have fun at.
A theme park.
It wasn't a theme park, it was like an attraction thing. Think of escape room type
Was this on your script? It's an attraction thing.
It's an attraction. I wanted to say platform again, but I couldn't fit it in a logical way. Now I'm completely lost. Yes, so when I'm in the box, if I've got a job like that, I will think back to a time where I was out somewhere having great fun to get me in that sort of, the excited sort of sensation. So real events are good inspiration. Perhaps not at the time, because I'm not thinking about it, this will be good to remember for when I'm in the box next time. I look back at things that I've done for inspiration.
Okay. When and where, I'm not sure I needed to say and where, when does inspiration become copying?
Ooh.
Because I will freely admit that I'm the biggest creative magpie in the world. As in,
thief.
I feel like I don't have that many really creative ideas, but I take inspiration, or I've seen something, and then it's in your brain somewhere, and then it comes out in a project. So whether that is creativity, whether that is me just being a good copier, I don't know.
How does that make you feel?
I love it. I love it
too. It's a side of you I didn't know existed.
I love it. No,
but there's an argument that everything has been done,
of course,
already.
Yeah,
I don't know if I agree to that specifically in some instances, but you're not copying everything about it.
It's a different context.
Exactly.
It's a different context.
You're taking something and I was using it elsewhere, but molding it into what you need it for.
Yeah.
Rather than, because it just wouldn't work if you take something from a film and then put that into a corporate video, like a black and white shot in the middle of a business interview or something. No.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Yeah, I'm doing a corporate video on insurance, and then halfway through I'm just doing this White Lotus cinematography. That's totally different. That's perfect.
Turning it off, it buzzed just now.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just thought you were checking your emails again. I thought I was boring you.
Well, you are, but I wasn't checking my emails.
Yeah. Well, okay. So that's made me feel a bit better. It's not copying, because of course it's got to be. You can copy something, but if you're shoehorning it in, it will never work. It's got to be the right fit, I suppose.
So what I touched on just then about everything being done already and not necessarily agreeing with it is, take music, for example. Someone was saying to me once when I was trying to write a riff on a guitar, and the guy was like, all the sequences have been done already, but they can't have been, because it depends on how long the sequence is, the phrase, what signature it's in, how fast or slow. Because even if you take the most used chord pattern ever, A minor, F, C, G, there's that YouTube video that's got that band playing all those songs in the same chords all the way through.
Yeah.
But you could add a different chord in the middle of that and it changes it straight away. Someone else plays a lead line on top of that. The drum does something different. The bass line is different.
Or how fast or slow, the pace.
Yeah.
And also I would say, and I'm not sure if this is relevant in guitar, but drums, for instance, there's a huge amount of, you could have 5 drummers playing exactly the same beat, but they would sound different because of how they play.
Yeah.
So nothing will ever be the same. You could have two identical beats, but they would sound different.
And everything can't have been done because not everything has happened yet.
Oh, well, that's
a discussion for the future.
Too much for my little brain to contemplate.
But what I mean is, 10 years ago, you wouldn't have had the handheld advert of self-shot advert for Moneybox, for example, because that style of film, well, TikTok wasn't a thing then.
Yeah.
Maybe it was, maybe 15 years ago. But now that has developed. So that's become a new way of advertising.
Yeah.
So not everything has been done, I don't think.
And with everything going on with AI, or, what the future looks like in terms of visuals and technology, who knows?
Yeah.
But what I would say is I would think that despite technology and the way the world's going, the techniques that have been used for 100 years in terms of storytelling and all the stuff that we do, I think that's kind of universal, because that's universal to what humans are and how humans respond to visuals. So,
has anyone ever said that you are an inspiration to them? What? It's a serious question.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I love the fact that you think that that's even possible, that someone could see me as an inspiration. No, I can't think of anyone. But thank you. I mean, I might think of.
Can you be inspired?
What about you? Has anybody said you're inspirational?
I don't think
apart
so.
from me.
I don't think so.
No. My sister-in-law once said, "I don't know how you do everything that you do," and I liked that. I enjoyed that because it means that she sort of thought that I was really busy and sort of doing this and that and sort of achieving stuff. I wasn't at all, but that's the only thing that I can think of.
It's an odd thing to think about, because I think it was misplaced, because I'm just doing what I know I should be doing in my mind.
But I also think that it would be a weird conversation to have if to call someone inspirational,
or to ask them, "Am I an inspiration
that's
to
the
you?"
worst. That's peak, isn't it? That's incredible.
Yeah.
I can think of some people. Yeah, I can think of some people that probably would ask that in real life.
Who?
I'm not going to name names, but we all know the people that I'm talking about.
Can you be inspired positively by a negative act, I guess you would say. So, for example, if you look at someone and think, well, that was rubbish.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not going to do that. I'm going to do it this way.
Yes, I totally, I would absolutely agree with that. And this probably speaks to how bad of a person I am. But if I'm ever seeing, someone that I would see as a competitor, and their work is rubbish, that inspires the hell out of me. Because it means that I'm potentially not ahead, but I can sort of make a living at this, which is great.
Hang on, you don't have competitors though, do you? Because
No.
it's collaboration over.
Always collaboration, not competition.
Was it Derek? I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? Had a really good line. It was collaboration until you're both walking through that same door.
Yeah, and then you kick them in the shins.
Which I thought that was really nice, though, because obviously the ideal world, everyone works together in peace and harmony, but you're still trying to get the work.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that if you're in the same community, there's still room for both. If I'm going for a job against another videographer, I would love to get that job. But if that person gets it, well, then you think, oh, that's fine. If it's going to go to someone, I'd like it to go to them. So I think there's room for both, definitely. But I think that if you're not connected to that person in any way, or you don't have a relationship with them, I think it's fine to take inspiration from their downfall.
You are brutal.
Yeah, I'm just being honest.
This is a revelation.
So flipping it, you have no one in the voiceover world that you would take inspiration from them being a bit rubbish. That wouldn't hype you up. If you can honestly say,
I think hype is the. I'm going to get pumped by it. It's like, oh, fuck yeah. Sorry, I shouldn't have sworn then.
Too late now.
Oh yeah, no editing. Damn it. Repeat the question.
I don't know, but I see now.
Do I get hyped up by someone else's?
I put myself into a corner here where people are going to be thinking I celebrate when I'm seeing rubbish work. I don't, but I don't get hyped up. But there's that. There's a word for it. Is it Schadenfreude? No, what's the?
I don't know.
You know what I mean, though, where you kind of take a bit of pleasure from someone.
I think it's.
What is it? Anyway,
is it? I want to just say it's human nature to.
Yes.
There's one thing that I do is I look back on my past work to see how much I've improved.
Yep.
And I think that's a really good exercise to do. And sometimes I think I look at other people and think that's where I was. Does that make sense?
Through your nose.
Yeah, like snootily. Oh, look.
I was there 5 years ago, darling.
But no, what I mean is I can see myself in where I am now. I know that I've improved, and that's not arrogance. That's just because I've put in the hard graft to be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Are we tying ourselves in knots?
Yeah.
Digging a massive hole here.
This episode may not go out.
I think it should.
No, we will. No, I think that's a great point. Thinking about it in just before we wrap up, because I think that's a fascinating point about inspiration from other people's misfortune. Just really quickly, if I'm ever watching,
and I think misfortune is the wrong word.
Okay, well, I'm tying myself in knots.
That's making it sound worse than it is.
Yeah, not misfortune. But so if I'm ever playing pool or practicing pool, and I think I'm really rubbish, then I would maybe watch a pros match and see them miss a really easy shot. I take inspiration from that, for instance, because everyone's human. People make mistakes. You don't have to be perfect. So it's the same kind of thing, isn't it? It doesn't have to be a competition, but it can still, you can take inspiration from that.
Yeah. And I think it's worth always remembering that, yes, you might think I'm better than that person.
Yeah.
But there'll always be someone else who's better than you. And I'm fully aware of that as well. And I think just knowing where you've come from and where you can possibly get to as well It's always worth remembering.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's always better punching up, isn't it? Better
Yes.
looking at people's work that's incredible, that you may never even aspire to be. But even just trying to get there, you're going to get better, aren't you?
So when you're saying punch up to those who are better up, do you mean you mock them as well? Because it makes more sense. But it's not as bad. Anyway, quick. Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Thank God we weren't recording that one.
Yeah. Well, no, really. Yeah. Thank God we weren't recording that one.